May 2025. Two presidents. One global storm. Donald Trump. Cyril Ramaphosa. A tweet starts it all. A meeting heats it up. And the world holds its breath. What begins as words becomes something more. A battle of power, pride, and politics. This is not just about land, not just about crime, not just about race. It's about truth and who gets to tell it. This is Trump versus Ramaphosa, a diplomatic clash in 2025, and it starts now. Chapter 1. Two Presidents, One Room, May 2025. The White House. The doors swing open, heavy, tall, white. A red carpet runs across the floor like a river of fire. Donald Trump stands in the center of the room. His suit is dark. His tie is bright red. His face, serious. No smile today. Across from him walks Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. He is calm, but his eyes watch everything. He knows this meeting will not be easy. They shake hands, firm, tight. Too tight. Trump speaks first. Mr. President, thanks for coming. His voice is low, flat. Ramaphosa nods. Thank you, Mr. President. I hope we can talk openly. Trump doesn't blink. We'll see. The room is quiet. Reporters snap photos. Cameras flash. Then they leave. The doors close. Now, only the two leaders remain. Tension fills the air like smoke. Why are they meeting? What is the problem? The answer: land and money. Trump recently made a speech. In it, he said South Africa was stealing land from white farmers. He called it a disaster. He said the U.S. must stand up for its friends. Ramaphosa was angry. Not true, he said. We are fixing past injustice. We are not stealing. We are reforming. But Trump didn't stop. He posted again. 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 His words went around the world. Now. The two presidents face each other. Trump sits down. He leans back, arms wide, confident. Ramaphosa stays standing. He looks straight at Trump. Mr. President, he begins, I came here to tell you something face to face. Trump raises his eyebrows. Ramaphosa continues. South Africa is a strong democracy. We have laws. We protect all people, black, white, rich, poor. We are fixing history, not fighting it. Trump interrupts. Some say your farms are dangerous now, that white farmers are attacked, that they lose everything. Ramaphosa shakes his head. We protect all lives. Crime is real, yes, but we do not choose by color. Trump frowns. But business is scared. Investors are leaving. That hurts everyone. Ramaphosa steps closer. Fear grows when leaders spread false stories. You speak of danger, but have you asked us? Have you seen the real South Africa? Trump doesn't answer. His face is still, cold. A long silence. Then Trump stands. He walks to the window, looks out. Washington is bright today. Blue sky, green trees, a perfect spring. He turns back. "What do you want from me?" he asks. Ramaphosa doesn't blink. "I want respect. I want facts, not tweets." Trump laughs, quiet, sharp. "You think I'm the problem?" Ramaphosa nods. "Yes." The two men stare at each other. Two presidents, two worlds, one room. History watches. The world listens. Will they find peace or push the fight further? The chapter ends here, but the story is just beginning. Chapter 2. The Accusation. White Genocide. The world is watching. It starts with a tweet. Donald Trump, loud and clear. White farmers in South Africa are being killed. It's a white genocide. The U.S. must act. One tweet, and everything explodes. News channels shout the headline. Trump accuses South Africa of white genocide. Social media burns. Some agree. Others are furious. And in Pretoria, President Cyril Ramaphosa reads the tweet. He reads it again. His hands tighten. His jaw locks. "What is this?" he says. He calls his advisors. "Get me the facts, now." The facts come quickly. Yes, some farmers have been killed, but not just white farmers. And not for being white. It's crime. It's poverty. It's violence that affects everyone. But Trump doesn't care about the facts. Not yet. He goes on television. He says, "They're taking land. They're killing the people. And nobody is doing anything." People cheer. Others gasp. Back in South Africa, Ramaphosa goes live on national TV. He speaks calmly, but his voice is firm. There is no white genocide. That is a lie. South Africa is not killing its people. We are building a new future for everyone. But the damage is done. Some farmers are scared. Some call it truth. Others call it an insult. A young man in Cape Town says, "My uncle was robbed last year." Yes, he's a farmer. Yes, he's white. But so was the police officer who helped him. This isn't about race, it's about crime. But Trump keeps pushing. At a rally in Florida, he points at the crowd. "You see what's happening over there? You think it can't happen here?" The crowd shouts back, "Protect our people." Back in Pretoria, Ramaphosa calls a press meeting. He looks straight at the cameras. "We will not be bullied. We will not be insulted. South Africa has a painful history. We are healing, but we will not go backward." The room goes quiet. A journalist stands. "Mr. President, do you think Trump is racist?" Ramaphosa pauses, then says, "I think he is playing with fire." And he's right. People begin to protest. Some in South Africa. Some in the U.S. One sign reads, "No more lies." Another reads, "Save our farmers." Two countries, two views, one storm. The American embassy in Pretoria is surrounded by reporters. Will the U.S. take action? They ask. Washington is silent. Then Trump speaks again. We will look into sanctions, he says. We're watching closely. Ramaphosa hears it on the radio. His eyes narrow. Sanctions? He says. For what? For protecting our people? His advisors are tense. This could hurt the economy. Ramaphosa answers, we will not kneel. Not for lies. Not for politics. The clash is now global. World leaders call for calm. The UN asks for evidence. Journalists dig into the numbers. And the truth? Yes, South Africa is struggling. Yes, some farmers are in danger. But genocide? Number. The word is too big, too heavy, too dangerous. But Trump used it, and Ramaphosa will not forget. This is not just about words anymore. It's about power, pride, and history. The chapter ends here, but the fire is still burning. Chapter 3. Ramaphosa responds. Cameras click, lights flash, reporters wait, pens ready, microphones high. In Johannesburg, President Cyril Ramaphosa stands behind the podium. He wears a dark suit, a small South African flag on his lapel. He looks calm, but serious. The room is full. News crews from around the world are watching. He clears his throat. There is something I must say, he begins. The room falls silent. There is crime in South Africa. Yes, and we are fighting it every day, but there is no genocide. He pauses. No genocide, he repeats. None. His voice is slow, clear, strong. We do not kill people because they are white or black or anything else. We are not at war with our farmers. We are not at war with our own people. He lifts a piece of paper. This is our police report. It shows all farm attacks, all victims, all races. Yes, some are white, but others are not. Crime does not choose color. A reporter asks, Mr. President, what about President Trump's words? He says there is a white genocide, that your government is part of the problem. Ramaphosa looks straight ahead. I will not let false words break our country, he says. We have been through too much. We know what real pain looks like. We know what real injustice is. He breathes in, slow, controlled. I invite President Trump to come, to see our farms, to speak to all our people. Then he will know the truth. Another reporter stands. Mr. President, are you angry? Ramaphosa pauses, then says, Yes, I am. The room holds its breath. I am angry because these lies are dangerous. They hurt our people. They create fear, and they bring back old hate. He steps away from the podium. He walks to the front of the stage, closer to the crowd. When you say genocide, he says, you are saying we are killers. You are saying we are monsters. That is wrong. The air grows colder, heavy. He continues, South Africa is a land of pain, yes, but also of hope. We are trying to fix what was broken, to give land to those who had none, but we are doing it through law, through peace. His voice rises. We are not perfect, but we are not what Trump says we are. The room stays quiet. Then, slow claps begin. A few at first. Then more. And more. Reporters nod. Some wipe their eyes. One voice whispers, "That was powerful." Outside, the streets are full. Some people hold signs. Some cheer. Some protest. But all are listening. Back in Washington, Trump hears the speech. He says nothing. But his advisors speak. He's strong, one says, and careful. Do we respond? Another asks. Trump says, let's wait. But Ramaphosa is not waiting. He speaks to other African leaders. He meets with business leaders. He sends letters to the UN. He is building support. Quietly, carefully, strongly. This is not just about land, not just about crime. This is about truth. Ramaphosa has spoken, and the world has heard him. The chapter ends here, but the fight for truth is not over. Chapter 4. Trump's Video Moment. The lights go down. The room turns dark. Quiet. Tense. President Donald Trump steps forward. He doesn't smile. He doesn't speak. Not yet. Behind him, a big screen lights up. A video begins to play. Loud music, fast cuts, flashing images. A farm gate, broken. A man with blood on his shirt. A woman crying beside a field. Fire in the night. Trump turns to the screen and watches with the others. No one moves. No one breathes. The video plays on. A voice speaks over the pictures. It says, in South Africa, white farmers live in fear. They are attacked. Their homes are burned. Their lives are destroyed. More images. A family runs into the dark. Police sirens. A baby crying. A headline. Farmer killed in brutal attack. The voice continues. The government does nothing. The world stays silent. Until now. Then the screen goes black. The lights turn on. Trump turns to the room. Reporters, politicians, advisors, cameras, all eyes on him. He says, "This is what they don't want you to see." His voice is deep, heavy, dramatic. "This is the truth," he says, "and I will not stay silent." Some people nod. Others shift uncomfortably. A reporter stands. "Mr. President, where did this video come from?" Trump replies, "From the farmers themselves. Brave people, telling their story." Another voice calls out, "But what about the full story? What about black farmers? What about crime across the country?" Trump raises a hand. "Of course crime is a problem, but this is targeted. This is about them being silenced. He points to the screen. Silence again. Then the questions begin. Is this video verified? Are these cases real? Is this not just fear made into a show? Trump answers quickly. These are real people. Real pain. The media may not care, but I do. Back in South Africa, the video spreads fast. It plays on phones, TVs, and laptops. Some people cry when they see it. Others are angry. A teacher in Durban says, "This video shows only one part of our story. What about the black families living in fear? What about the poor people in townships? We all suffer from violence." In Pretoria, Ramaphosa watches the video. He doesn't speak at first. Then he says, "This is propaganda." His advisors nod. One says, "It's made to shock, to scare, but not to explain." Ramaphosa answers, "We must respond." But not with fear, with facts. And so, a new video is made. It shows farm workers, black and white. It shows families working together. It shows police officers protecting farms. It shows pain, but also unity. Ramaphosa appears at the end. He says, "Violence is real. But we do not fight it with lies. We fight it with truth and justice and hope." The two videos are now part of a war. Not a war with guns. A war of stories. A war of beliefs. Which story will the world believe? That is still unknown. The chapter ends here. But the screen is still glowing. Chapter 5. The world reacts. The news spreads fast. Trump's video, Ramaphosa's answer. It's everywhere. TV screens flash across cities. Headlines fill the internet. Phones buzz with alerts. Social media burns with opinions. Some say, Trump is right. Someone had to speak the truth. Others say, this is dangerous. He's spreading fear. In the U.S., politicians take sides. One senator says, America must protect human rights everywhere. Another replies, this is political theater. Trump is using pain to play a game. In Europe, leaders are careful. The president of France says, we must not judge too quickly. South Africa is a friend. Let us speak with respect. But in some places, protests begin. In South Africa, a group of farmers gathers in the streets. They hold signs. Stop the violence. Protect our land. Some are white. Some are black. A farmer says into a camera, we are all afraid. But don't use us for politics. We are not your show. Meanwhile, in Washington, Trump tweets again. We will not back down. We stand with the farmers. His followers cheer. But others question the facts. One journalist writes, Trump shows only one side. What about the full picture? What about history? What about hope? On the radio, a voice says, this is not just about land. It's about power. It's about who gets to tell the story. In Pretoria, Ramaphosa holds a meeting with African Union leaders. They sit in a circle, flags from across Africa behind them. One leader says, "This is not just an attack on South Africa. It's an attack on all of us." Another nods. They think we are weak, that we will not speak. Ramaphosa answers, "Then let us speak, together." A letter is sent to the United Nations. It says, "Words like genocide are serious. They cannot be used for drama. They must be used with truth." The UN responds. They call for calm. They ask for facts. They promise to send observers to South Africa. But the world is already choosing sides. In Australia, a news anchor says, "Trump is bold." He says what others won't. In Kenya, a writer tweets, "This is not bold. This is blind. Africa is more than one story." In South Africa, a student says, "Why does he care now? Where was he when we needed help with jobs, schools, water?" The voices grow louder, confused, angry, divided, but also awake. People are reading, watching, asking questions, and maybe that is power too. Not just in tweets, not just in videos, but in truth, in voices rising, in people saying, "Wait, what's really going on?" Back in the White House, Trump meets with his team. He watches the protests, the news, the headlines. One advisor says, "Sir, this is getting big." Trump smiles. "Good," he says, "let them talk." And talk they do. From Cape Town to Chicago, from Paris to Pretoria, the world is watching. The story is still unfolding, and the clash is far from over. The chapter ends here, but the noise only grows louder. Chapter 6. The Role of the Media. The screens glow, the headlines shout. White genocide in South Africa? Trump defends farmers. Ramaphosa fights back. But what's true and what's not? That depends on where you look. In the US, some news channels show only one side. Big letters flash on screen. Massacre in the fields. Trump speaks for the voiceless. The hosts speak fast, loud, emotional. They play Trump's video again and again. This is proof, they say. Something terrible is happening, and no one else dares to talk about it. But they don't show the numbers. They don't explain the history. They don't show the full picture. In South Africa, some news shows are the opposite. They call it fake. They say, Trump is lying. He is using fear to win votes. They play Ramaphosa's speech. They talk about land reform. They interview black farmers and police officers. But sometimes, they also miss things. They don't always show the pain some white families feel. They don't show every farm attack. They focus on pride, not problems. And somewhere in the middle are the truth seekers. Journalists from small outlets, independent voices, fact checkers. They dig deeper. They ask questions like, how many farmers have really been killed? Who were they? Was it race, or robbery, or both? They look at the numbers. In the past year, farm attacks are down. Most victims are not killed, and victims come from all races. But still, the fear is real, and fear spreads fast. One reporter writes, the real story is not simple. Crime is real. History is heavy. And words like genocide only make things worse. A podcast goes viral. It's called The Land and the Lie. In it, a young South African says, we're tired of being used. By Trump, by anyone. Our pain is not a weapon. People listen. Some for the first time. In schools, students debate. What's the role of the media? Should they scare us or inform us? A girl in Cape Town raises her hand. I think the media should help us think, not just make us angry. And she's right. Because now, more than ever, people need truth. Not just noise, not just clicks. In Washington, a reporter questions Trump's team. Do you stand by the word genocide? They pause. One says, we stand by the farmers. That's what matters. But he doesn't say yes. Or number in Pretoria, Ramaphosa appears on international news. He speaks softly, but clearly. We are not perfect, but we are not monsters. Our story is complex. Please, let us tell it. And for a moment, the world listens. Not to the loudest voice, but to the voice that asks for understanding. That voice is growing. It's in newspapers, in blogs, in podcasts. It's in people asking, what is really happening? Because the truth is not always easy. It's not black or white. It's not one video or one tweet. It's in between. And it takes time to find. The chapter ends here. But the search for truth goes on. Chapter 7. South Africa's Internal Struggles. South Africa is a land of beauty and pain. Mountains rise high. Cities shine bright. But deep inside, the country is still healing. It is May 2025, and the pressure is rising. President Ramaphosa stands before his people. He speaks of hope, of justice, of change. But behind his words are problems. Real problems. Poverty, unemployment, violence, land. Too many people still live without enough food. Too many sleep in shacks. Too many fear the night. Land reform is one of the biggest issues. For years, black South Africans were pushed off their land. Now, the government is trying to give land back. Not with violence, with laws. But it's not easy. Some farms are bought. Some are taken by the state. Some deals are fair. Others are not. People are angry, on both sides. A black man in the Eastern Cape says, "My family had no land for 100 years. We want a farm. We want a future." A white farmer in Free State says, My father worked this land his whole life. I don't want to lose it. Both are hurting. Both want justice. But what is justice? And while the country asks these questions, Trump speaks. South Africa is out of control, he says. White people are being targeted. His words echo like thunder, but they do not help. In fact, they make things harder. After Trump's comments, fear spreads. Some white families pack their bags. Some black families feel blamed. Trust breaks apart. Ramaphosa goes on TV again. We are working to fix our country, he says, but outside voices must not make it worse. Still, people struggle. Crime is real. In some areas, gangs rule the streets. In others, police are too few or too afraid. Farmers are attacked, black and white. Shops are looted. Children walk past broken glass on their way to school. But not all is dark. There are stories of hope. A group of black and white farmers start a project together. They share land. They share tools. They build trust. A young mayor in Limpopo opens a job center. He says, "We can't wait for help. We must help ourselves." A policewoman in Johannesburg trains her team. "We protect everyone," she tells them, "no matter who they are." Change is happening, but slowly. And every time Trump speaks, the country flinches. His words are loud, sharp, but they don't see the full picture. He sees crime, but not the cause. He sees anger, but not the history. He sees farms, but not the people behind them. South Africa is not perfect. Far from it. But it is trying to rebuild, trying to heal, trying to grow, and that takes time. Trump's fire makes that harder. His words bring heat, not light, and the people on the ground, black, white, rich, poor, are the ones who feel the burn. The chapter ends here. But South Africa's struggle continues. Quiet, fierce, and deeply human. Chapter 8. U.S. Policy Shifts. It begins with a tweet. Donald Trump writes, "South Africa is unsafe. The government has failed. The U.S. will take action." And just like that, everything changes. The next day, Trump walks into the press room at the White House. He speaks into the microphone. Calm, direct, serious. The United States will now cut all aid to South Africa, he says. We will no longer support a government that refuses to protect its people. Reporters gasp. Cameras flash. But Trump isn't finished. We are also creating a new visa program, he says. A program for white South African farmers, good people, hard workers. They need a safe place, and we are proud to give it to them. The room explodes with questions. Is this about race? Isn't this a political move? Will this hurt U.S.-Africa relations? Trump doesn't answer. He walks away. The news spreads fast. Aid cut. Visas offered. Farmers chosen. a new policy with a loud message. In Pretoria, Ramaphosa hears the news. He is calm, but behind his eyes, the storm is rising. He calls a press conference. South Africa will not be bullied, he says. We will not be divided by old ideas. Not again. The room is full. Journalists from across the world listen. Our country is not perfect, he says, but we are trying, with fairness, with law, with peace. Then he says something more. If the United States chooses to take only white farmers, they are not helping South Africa. They are hurting it. Some clap. Others stay silent. In the countryside, farmers react. One man says, I never thought about leaving. But now, maybe I will. I just want peace. A woman says, my neighbor is black. We farm side by side. Why is only my family offered a visa? That feels wrong. The country is confused, divided, and the world watches. Some praise Trump. He's protecting people, they say. He's brave enough to do what others won't. Others are shocked. This is dangerous, one leader says. This is not just a policy. This is a message, and the message is ugly. The African Union calls an emergency meeting. Leaders speak with anger. One says, if they can take our farmers today, who will they take tomorrow? Another says, this is not about safety. It's about power. Meanwhile, in Washington, Trump's supporters cheer. One man at a rally shouts, send them here. We need strong farmers. But others feel uneasy. A U.S. senator says, we cannot make policy based on race. That is not who we are. Yet, the policy stands. Aid stops flowing. The visa program begins. Planes are ready. Back in South Africa, Ramaphosa meets with his cabinet. He looks tired, but determined. This is not just about money, he says. It's about dignity. They agree. They begin to build new partnerships. China, Brazil, the African Union. The message is clear. If the U.S. steps away, South Africa will stand tall. But still, the hurt remains. A wound opened by words, and now deepened by action. Trump has made his move, and South Africa must decide how to answer. The chapter ends here, but the consequences are only beginning. Chapter 9. Public Opinion Divided. The news hits hard. Trump cuts U.S. aid to South Africa. He offers special visas, but only to white farmers. Some call it bold. Others call it racist. The world reacts, and so do the people. In America, some cheer. At a rally in Texas, a man waves a flag. He shouts, "Finally, a president who protects Christians, hard workers, people like us." Others clap and nod. But across the street, A protest grows. A woman holds a sign. Justice is not white. She yells, "This is not protection. This is politics." Police stand between the groups. Tension fills the air. In South Africa, protests rise too. Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban. Students march through the streets. Black, white, mixed, young, loud. They chant, "Trump, keep your visas." South Africa is for all. No more fear. One student says, "My grandfather was a farmer. He was killed in a robbery, but he was black. No one made a video for him." In the Free State, a white farmer speaks on TV. He says, "I'm not against getting help, but why only us? My workers are black. We live and work together. If we are in danger, so are they." Voices rise on all sides, and many feel confused. A teacher in Pretoria says, "I don't know what to believe anymore. Every day there's a new story, a new spin. What is the truth?" An American mother watches the news and whispers, "Is this really about farmers? Or is it about elections?" Social media is full of fire. Some posts say, "South Africa is dangerous. Trump is right." Others reply, "Stop using our country as a tool." Facts get lost in the shouting. News channels fight for attention. One shows farm attacks. Another shows peaceful communities. Both say, "This is the truth." But the truth is more complex. A radio show in Nairobi puts it best. The host says, "We are watching a storm made of real pain, real fear, and loud politics. The people in the middle, they just want peace." Even in the U.S. Congress, voices clash. One senator says, "Trump is a hero to the forgotten." Another says, "He is creating division, not solving problems." And still, the policies stand. Aid is frozen. Visas are offered. The lines grow longer. Some farmers apply, others refuse. A white farmer from Mpumalanga says, "My family has lived here for 6 generations. I will not leave because of fear or politics. This is my home." A black farmer from Limpopo says, "Good. Let them go. Maybe then we'll get the support we need." But not everyone speaks with anger. Some speak with sadness, with worry, with deep tiredness. Because in the end, most people want the same thing: safety, dignity, a future. And right now, that future feels far away. The world keeps watching. Leaders keep talking. And the people keep hoping. The chapter ends here. But the heart of the story still beats in every voice caught in the middle. Chapter 10. After the clash, what's next? The meeting is over. Trump has spoken. Ramaphosa has answered. The cameras are off. The tweets have slowed. But the fire is still burning. Outside the White House, reporters wait. Inside, Trump walks down the hallway. Silent, focused, thinking. In Pretoria, Ramaphosa closes a folder on his desk. He looks out the window. A storm is coming. Clouds roll in over the hills. And in both countries, people ask the same question. What happens now? Some believe change is coming. A U.S. official says, Trump made his point. South Africa must now prove itself. An activist in Johannesburg replies, we don't need to prove anything to him. We need to build for ourselves. The air is thick with uncertainty. Business leaders call for calm. We want to invest, says a CEO, but only if there's peace. Farmers look to the future, unsure. One man says, I applied for the visa. I don't want to leave, but I don't feel safe here anymore. Another says, leaving won't solve anything. We need solutions here. In Washington, Trump's team celebrates. He took a stand, they say. He showed strength. In South Africa, Ramaphosa meets with rural leaders. He promises new protections, new programs, new plans. But talk is easy. And the people want results. A woman in Soweto says, I don't care about politics. I want my kids to walk to school safely. A farmer in the Northwest Province says, we don't need tweets. We need tractors, roads, police. Still, something has changed. People are paying attention. More reporters visit the farms. More leaders speak up. More voices are heard. A young student writes online. For the first time, I see my country on the news. Not just the bad parts, the real parts. And the world listens. The United Nations sends a small team to visit South Africa. They talk to victims of crime, black and white. They talk to police. They talk to farmers, families, teachers, and shopkeepers. Their report says, there is fear, there is pain, but there is no genocide, there is struggle, and the will to overcome it. Back in the U.S., some are not happy. They say, why did Trump exaggerate? Was this really about helping people or winning votes? Others still support him. He tried. He cared. No one else said anything before him. And in South Africa, the country keeps moving forward, slowly, unevenly, but forward. Land reform continues, with new rules. Police get more training. Community safety groups begin to grow. And yes, the fear is still there. But so is hope. Hope that this clash, this storm of politics, emotion, and history might lead to something better, something deeper than just headlines, something more than just noise. In the end, the question remains, did this clash create real change or just more anger? No one knows yet. The story is still unfolding. But one thing is clear. The world was watching. And now, it will not look away. The chapter ends here. But the future is still being written.